welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
I'm Todd Pleasant.
Yeah, and I'm Brian Mix.
Yay, Brian.
Hey.
Welcome back, Brian.
Here for auction time.
It's the happiest week of the year. We're going to Rhode Island Comic Con, as we mentioned.
Yes,
as we mentioned
this show arrives in your podcast catcher, your earbuds, wherever you're getting it, we will be there, or at least on our way there. Anyway.
On our way there. So you have time to, A, if you're going to be there, let us know. B, if there's someone you need us to smell for you, you let us know that too, and we'll do it.
Okay,
and there's still time for you to go. If
Can we just like... The smell thing was kind of try it, run it up the flagpole thing. We've gotten feedback. I think
I love the way all of a sudden when it was thought that it was my thing that I said, let's do it.
I was the
creep who had to smell her.
I was the first person who noted smelling her. I wasn't the one who made it a thing. Okay.
I think we all made it a thing.
Okay, wait,
except for Brian.
I just said off the air, sometimes an episode is just for us as an inside joke. So I make no apologies for last week's episode.
I think 450 of 454 are for us. So
yeah, but sometimes they have to be, and if that's all of them, then that's fine.
Okay,
so I can't imagine there's more than one or two that's for somebody else.
If you were offended, if you're offended, we apologize. But write us if there's somebody you want us to sniff.
The fact that you guys are still doing a podcast after that proves no women listen to this.
We're not going to change. So,
and if you're a woman listening to the show, please let us know.
There's a manual you want us to smell.
Dave was clear that he'd be willing to sniff dudes.
That is true.
I think he's going to sniff Stephen Amell with no problem.
I've smelled Stephen Amell. He's got a musky masculine smell. And how about Todd? You ain't got that Alan Rickman or whatever that dude's name was, who plays, the guy who plays Jack Reacher.
Oh, I don't think it's Alan Rickman.
Your nose was all over him, and you know it.
Hans Gruber played who? What now?
Not Alan. Okay. What's that guy's name?
Moving on to random topics.
What's his name? Alan, right?
What is it?
Alan Richter?
The guy who plays Hawk.
He smelled good, but nobody remembers his name.
Yes.
I'll smell the dude. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because at least until Tuesday,
can move on.
How to bring a podcast to a grinding halt.
At least until Tuesday, we're still allowed to smell a man of the same sex.
Yeah. And then we'll see. Alan Richson, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just showing how confident we all are in our own sexuality.
Yeah.
Sniff male, female.
While we can.
Guarantee the stupid Supreme Court is going to stop the smelling of the same sex at some point.
Yeah, it's just
those guys should all be in prison.
That is just wrong.
And then they'll be trying to stop stuff. Anyway, let's go random. Who's got Brian? Do you have anything?
I do. I've got a new movie coming up that I can't believe you guys have not talked about. Very special place in my heart, and it's A Christmas Story Christmas.
I have not seen the trailer, and I've been meaning to. I totally forgot.
The trailer isn't much of a trailer.
Really?
No, a new one dropped today.
Oh, okay. Because I saw the teaser that came out the other day, and it was just scenes from the original, voiceover from the original.
This is
an actual trailer?
All actual trailer with scenes from the new movie, which, and if you like the old movie, they go right back.
We watched
the same house, the same store, everything.
Multiple times every Christmas. Multiple times.
There was an actual sequel to this movie.
I saw that. I'm wondering if they're going to mention it in this
really
sequel.
Bad.
I don't know that I ever saw that.
The Christmas Story 2 had none of the original cast.
That's right. It was Daniel Stern, I think.
Right. The Christmas Story Christmas has almost everybody is back.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Hopefully Kolchak isn't there.
But Kolchak's not there.
Because that would be bad.
No, he's not there.
He's out night stalking.
Yeah.
And Peter Billingsley is not only is an actor, but he's a fairly prolific producer too. He works with Favreau and those guys.
So his voice, his adult voice now doesn't match his predicted adult voice. That's just totally going to screw things up.
Who was the voiceover in the original?
It was the writer, the actual writer of the book.
Yeah, the guy that wrote it.
But I think he's doing it now, though. He's doing the voiceover work, and he looks the same stupid smile and the glasses, and he looks
the
great.
kid, yeah. He's the dude in Iron Man and a couple other movies, and Elf, and he directed a few movies.
So I'm looking forward
to that.
HBO Max looks great.
Oh, it is on HBO Max. Good. I'm glad it's not on stupid Hulu. That's the only one I don't have.
Stupid Hulu.
Todd, what do you got?
Okay. So Michael J. Fox was recently asked about whether or not they could ever reboot Back to the Future. And his answer is not what I'm going to talk about, which is, he basically said he thought about it and he thought that next time they should do it with a female lead.
Supreme Court won't let that happen.
But that's not what's interesting in this. Robert Zemeckis, in response to that, said, "Oh God, no, that can't happen until Bob and I are dead."
Yeah.
Okay, Bob Gale, the writer, they have in the contract, in the original contract, there's a clause that gives them the final say on any Back to the Future related films as long as they live.
Good for them.
Now,
Good.
how cool and how smart was that back in the day to do that? I mean, he also in this relates it to like Citizen Kane, but
you know what?
Of this genre, it is Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane did not have two mediocre sequels.
But the studio probably thought we'll never make a movie after this trilogy is over.
Oh yeah,
so
but
give
again,
them whatever they're asking for.
But the fact that they were smart enough to do that, and I think of all the films that have been revisited that shouldn't be, or again, like rebooted that shouldn't have been. How awesome was it that he had built-in protection against the two of them had built-in protection against
and I'm of the I realize I am in the minority when I say I love Back to the Future 2, but I don't think that either of those movies needed to exist. Back to the Future of its own was a perfect film. It didn't need any sequels at all, but I like the second one a lot. I don't really love the third one.
I love all three of them.
Really, I'll never watch the second and third. I'll watch the first. I would, not that I hate them, but it feels like a long road for nothing.
They're like Star Wars movies to me. If I watch the first one, I've got to watch all three.
I'm also just not a Westerns guy, so that the third one always kind of.
I will say I can watch the first one by itself. I don't think I've seen the two follow-ups in many, many years.
Me neither.
So I've seen parts of them, but yeah, but
I enjoyed the original. And I realize it's antiquated now, but I enjoyed the futuristic elements of the second one quite a bit.
There was a goofiness to that.
There was more goofiness to it, but I thought there was less kind of genuine menace to that one.
There was some goofiness to it. There's also, I mean, all the Biff in the future stuff was actually pretty rough. I mean, he was a bad dude. He beat Marty's mom. Ready to kill Marty. Yeah. I mean, it was some brutal stuff in there.
But the like I said, I think the first film is awesome. It is a classic. And, and it stands up and should, like I said, it would be
perfect.
It would be like rebooting Ghostbusters. It just can't ever happen
with an all-female cast.
Nice.
Theoretically,
do you consider the new one a reboot? I don't. I consider it a sequel.
It's a sequel. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but there's a difference between a reboot and a sequel. We've talked about this a lot, and I'm saying some things you would never reboot. So you can be referential to it. You can follow on it, whatever, but you never reboot.
Well, here's a question though. So, and we all enjoyed Afterlife to some degree, but I've never even gone back and rewatched it. Like, to me, it also didn't need to exist.
I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot, and I have it on my list of things I want to watch. Mm-hmm. I even have the Blu-ray, so I will watch it. I just haven't.
So somewhere out there, there's a script treatment for a film where Marty's kids find the DeLorean in a barn somewhere and just go off. But I think, again, I think that was respectful of the original, and I think you can take it or leave it whether you want it or not. But it wasn't a reboot, and I think that's the great thing about it.
Right.
So the complete opposite of what Todd's talking about, things that absolutely deserve a reboot, is The Fall Guy, and they were making a movie with Ryan Gosling as the Fall Guy. Can you believe they're making a movie with that?
That's the one with the stuntman?
Lee Majors.
Yeah, Lee Majors is a stuntman. Yeah.
I barely remember that.
I don't know if I've ever seen
I
it.
confuse that and the William Shatner cop show because they both didn't they both have Heather Locker in them?
Both had Heathers.
They both
in them,
had a Heather, hot
not
blonde
the same
Heather.
Right, different Heather.
Exactly. There were, And
one was Heather Locklear, the other's Heather Thomas. Heather Thomas was at Chiller, I think.
Yeah.
At one point.
Now, did the Fall Guy, was he a stuntman who also solved crime?
He was a stuntman who was a bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter, that was it.
So, did I tell you my Fall Guy thing recently? For some reason, about 3 months ago, I woke up with the Fall Guy theme stuck in my head, and it still reoccurs.
That Lee Majors sings.
Oh, and it's every bit as bad as you remember.
It's not as bad as when he sings about Jamie in the
it is not
Woman
as bad
episode.
with it. Yeah.
But
spent much
I don't know. It obviously
ladies plenty.
Been seen with Farrah. I've never been with anything less than a 9.
I've never been with anything less than a 9. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
What possessed that? It's like him and William Shatner need to sing, and they really don't.
Yeah. I've been on fire.
I've been seen with
gone
Farrah.
fast with a girl named Bo.
It's a very autobiographical song.
For
I
him,
wonder if they were still married at the time. I don't think so.
Yeah.
They were not married, and she appeared in an episode.
They were still friends?
Did a cameo in the episode. And I think it was the pilot, actually.
It was in her marriage
He
contract.
ran into her on set, and she was sitting in a car, and he talked to her, and she said, "You take care." And it was I was like, "Oh, that's sad."
No.
But she's mentioned again. She's mentioned in the I've been seen with them. Yeah, before Ryan O'Neal. Yeah.
And they were best friends. Lee Majors and Ryan O'Neal were best friends.
They were best friends. So.
That's a messed up scenario. But
that's the 70s for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fall Guy, yeah. Where's the Bionic Man? That needs to be redone. Come on.
Okay, well, I'm glad it didn't happen with Marky Mark, but I mean, it was supposed to be him for a long time, wasn't he?
Also supposed to be Schwarzenegger at one time.
The Bionic Woman tanked so badly. I don't think they'd go back to that well.
I did watch that on. It's still on
awful.
Peacock or something.
It is, yeah. Bizarrely.
It wasn't horrific. It was, But anyway, Barry, what do you got? Or you don't have anything?
Nothing. Moving on.
So, I just had one other quick thing, and that's Henry Cavill is talking a lot about Superman. He is now the third season of The Witcher will come out next year, and the fourth is going to be Liam Hemsworth. He's going to take over that role.
The first lesser Hemsworth.
The first lesser Hemsworth, but he is committing time to being Superman. He wants to do that. He wants that role, and they've got things going on, but he said very clearly in a couple of interviews now, he wants this to be hopeful, optimistic, joyful Superman. So Barry won't like it.
The whole city.
Yeah, Superman.
Barry won't like this, but I'm actually kind of excited for that. I would love to see
maybe he'll strike a balance between Zack Snyder and the 70s Superman, and maybe I will.
I think you leave emo to Batman and you let Superman be Superman.
Why, you liked Man of Steel?
No, yeah, I did. I'm saying
Barry did.
And you liked that one. No one else liked it.
I think I like it.
No.
I never really liked the Christopher Reeves because I thought he was too goody two shoes. So I'm saying
that's what Superman is.
But it doesn't
He's
have
the
to
Blue
be.
Boy Scout. That's who he is.
Yeah, I agree.
Not my Superman. I
Who's
like
your Superman. Man of Steel.
I loved Man of Steel, and I'll hold up my crystal skull. I don't care.
I'm surprised no one said they're talking about making a Vision series.
Okay. Yeah. I was just going to say, my real Man of Steel is Brandon Ruth. No, go ahead. I can't even fake that. Go ahead.
You had to pick everyone pick your Superman and pick your Batman.
Oh, Christopher Reeves, Christian Bale.
Yeah. George Reeves.
I was going to say George Reeves, Adam West.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck.
Brian, was that yours?
Yeah, George Reeves, Adam West. I'll watch them over and over and over.
Yeah.
Keaton was great. I love Keaton in the newest movies. Keaton.
I hate that I actually want to watch Wednesday.
Dave, what are yours?
I would, same as you. I would, Christopher Reeve and Christian Bale. Although I like Affleck.
I thought Christian Bale was good, except when he did the Batman voice. It just always annoyed me.
Ruined it. He was better in the first one. He didn't do that.
It wasn't as bad in the first one, but it was that was bad.
It became a trope so fast.
Yeah, very fast.
Now when he does it, it seems silly.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton had the best line about that. It was like, I didn't have to say I'm Batman. When I showed up, everyone knew. It was like, it's like, okay, yep, you're right.
Okay. So anyway, the Vision thing, they're talking about making a Vision movie, I guess with the white Vision.
Yep, Vision Quest.
I say move on.
Movie or series?
Series. It's super early, but
yeah, you
they're
said
talking
movie,
about writing a
that's why
series. Did I say movie? I meant
So that would be the second spin-off from WandaVision, if they follow through with the Agatha Harkness thing, which it sounds like they're doing because it's still semi-scheduled. So
no, they're talking about that. I don't think that's going away.
Yeah, they retitle it, but it's still
right.
I don't know. I think they need to wrap that up somehow, and they need to figure out a way how they're going to ease her back into the universe. So.
I just don't get that. You made her really do some horrible stuff, and you want to get her back into the universe.
They're going to.
So did Loki. They will. They got Loki back in. He's got his own show.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep.
So, yeah, and what did Loki do? He bored us for like 8 episodes.
He was charming about it, though.
Oh,
and
Loki
I do agree with Barry. He bored us for 8 episodes. Is that what you mean that Loki did wrong? Bored us?
I said he bored us for 8 episodes.
I killed lots of people, but I think it's worse that he bored us for 8 episodes.
I don't think it was boring.
I know. We're baiting you, Todd.
So I loved Alligator Loki, and
okay. Other than Alligator Loki, I couldn't remember another highlight.
I liked Sylvie. I liked the female Loki. I liked
the whole time collective group there where they're trying to collect the timeline. That was just a cool idea.
It was, and I think
slowly executed.
I liked Loki. I felt like it meandered for way too long.
I think that's all it did is meander.
Yeah.
I disagree, but I think it could have been. I will acknowledge it could have been tightened up. So.
And none of us knew going into it that it was part 1, or that it was to be continued, right? So we were all every other series.
Someday, someone will hack into the KEVIN computer and find that was not the full first season.
Right.
Oh, there it is. Right there.
I think there's 2 more episodes out there that they were going to wrap this thing in 10, and awesome, that is great. I think they were going to wrap this thing in 10 and decided to instead to do a second season, and we didn't see all because it just.
Do you think because they were going to make that guy the big bad guy, they realized, wait, we can't go too much further with him?
There was something. I think because they had said at one point it was 10 episodes, and then all of a sudden it was 8, and then all of a sudden it was season 2, and they said that right out of the chute. Oh, there's a season 2, and. Yeah, I think midway in the stream they changed things.
Right, but they haven't given us a second season of any other Marvel show. Every other Marvel series
or even promised the second season.
Right.
So many of these shows, it feels like the writer said, we got 4 really tight episodes, and they went, that's great, but you got to fill 8 weeks. So like Andor, for instance, is a great.
I agree with that. The last 2 Andors have been like, They feel like the first 2 Andors.
I don't know. I thought the prison episode was awesome.
You just like prison.
Have you ever seen a Gladiator movie, Bobby? No, I loved that episode.
That episode was good, but the one before that was nothing went on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. You want to know
world building? It was all
I had to get that in.
Okay.
You guys reviewed it.
I will just one last thing on this. I just rewatched most of She-Hulk because I did not.
You have a lot of time on your hands
because someone in my household did not keep up, and so I kind of binge rewatched the second half of the season, and I like that show even better now. So that was but
great show. You guys reviewed it, and I hit pause and didn't listen to your review until I watched the whole thing, and I listened to the review. But it was a great show.
So much clever shit in that show that you didn't even see until you look at it You see it second time around, and they just it's awesome.
You know who's awesome? Fanboy Collectibles. Okay, check it out. Premium speaking of Halloween, which we didn't mention, but premium format sideshow Dracula, everyone needs that. Quarter scale Gladiator Hulk. That's not a Hot Toys. It's, I think, in Iron Studios. 32 inches of Gladiator Hulk. That's about as much Hulk as you need.
That's huge.
Iron Studios Frankenstein, depending on where you're from. I guess where I looked at today, but this stuff was out before Halloween. Hasbro Black Series Luke lightsaber from Mandalorian. I haven't seen too many lightsabers on his site, so great jump on those.
Yeah, it's good that he's doing the Black Series, the higher end Black Series stuff now.
Yes. So
there's a cool Iron Studios Lord of the Rings Sauron statue too. Looks really cool.
Not really cool.
Yep.
Oh no, it is really cool.
No one cares about the Lord of the Rings. Right, Troy? So sideshows and pop and it's the holiday season. Ugh. There's already freaking Christmas commercials, so it is officially the holiday season.
My wife told me today they took the Billy Joel channel off Sirius, and it is now a Christmas channel already on November 1st. So,
is it really?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but Christmas is in 7 weeks.
It's nuts.
Yikes. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, but if you do need Christmas presents for your loved ones, for your hated ones, for yourself, you know where to go. Fanboy Collectibles. Sign up for their gift registry
and order early for Christmas to make sure you get it in time. So
exactly. Check them out online, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the Regular Joe sent you.
They have blurgs. Just saying.
They what?
They have
blurgs.
Did you guys buy? Did you see the email Troy sent us the other day? He listened to the last episode.
Oh, he was talking. Yeah.
Oh no.
We mispronounced a bunch of names of wrestlers. He knows wrestling.
Oh yeah,
he corrected us as he should.
Yes,
why not?
As he should. And Troy, if you're not going to be there, we'll sniff him up for you. Don't.
Well, he's never been on the show. He is like a regular Joe, so you know.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So prop store auction coming up again. This one from London, and by the way, the pound is very weak right now, which is good. I think at one point the pound was $1.40. When I looked yesterday, it was $1.16. So the exchange rate's not that bad. Not that I think that affects the prices at all. They just put whatever the hell they want on it.
Yeah.
So it's 3 days.
Well, it's a 4-day auction, 3 days of movies.
3 days of movies, and the second day is movie props. Music. Music stuff.
Music, guitars, and music memorabilia.
Yeah. So I feel like there was even more stuff in this one than in the last one. There's no shortage.
Amazingly good stuff in here.
There's a lot of good stuff, and there's some weird stuff. I'm just going to say it.
There's some stuff that came out of the woodwork. I was watching a couple Adam Savage videos because he does it on all this stuff. They give him free stuff and he does all the videos. Not that but if, for instance, Roy Batty's coat, it was the costumer gave it to the contest for charity, and some dude won it, and I think he passed away, and his wife has had it forever, and she just called him up and said, "Oh, by the way, I have this thing. Is this?" So this is like something that's been lost since 1982, and all of a sudden it just pops up out of nowhere, and it's like that's a serious thing. It's like one of a kind.
It feels like there's either stuff that's been changing hands from collector to collector for 20 years, or stuff's coming out of somebody's closet, and there's kind of nothing in between.
And you're absolutely right, because there is no doubt there is stuff in this auction that was in the last auction. So I don't know if it didn't sell, if it's a duplicate, or if someone won it and is already trying to flip it, because I bet all that shit's going on.
So, I mean, do you just want to name stuff here?
Yeah, just randomly.
So I'm gonna start because this one is, and this is one of the ones that Adam Savage actually did a video on. As a kid, I loved the movie Krull.
Of course,
and they've got the glaive, the practical effect glaive from Krull that actually has the blades that pop out, and they still work.
Excellent.
Adam Savage showed the video of them, and you can still press the button on the back, and all 5 blades pop out. And this is another one. Like I've never seen this in an auction before, so I don't know where this came from, but wow,
Well, it is from Kroll, so you can probably get it for a couple $100.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's not going to go for a ton of money, but it's one of those movies. They're estimating 10 to 15,000.
Everything
euros.
is high.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, are we being practical?
No,
Or
no,
are we-
not
Oh, okay.
practical.
Okay.
I have a practical list of things that I can consider bidding on, and I have a list of things that I can't bid on.
Rather than go right to crawl.
Well, I wasn't necessarily going in number order.
Well, Todd, there was nothing from Willow, so he decided the next worst movie ever made.
I honestly
Screw you guys.
could
I'm
not
going
get
home.
past the I would just say probably one of the things in here that just really, really excited me was the dropship model miniature from Aliens.
It's not a miniature. Did you see how
all
big
the-
it is?
All the stuff
it's
from
a
Aliens
miniature,
that
but
is,
it's-
I mean,
There's definitely
I've never seen
like
so much stuff from Aliens.
a lot of
this-
stuff.
but
What is
this
it?
crazy
Selling
thing.
Amazing.
Aliens
Just imagine
collection.
having this thing hung from your ceiling. I mean, it's yeah, that
It's
is,
huge. I mean, you're right. It's a miniature in that it's not as big of a
it's
ship
not
as-
1:1 scale, but
Yeah, but
no,
it's-
that's what I'm just saying. But this
it's
is the thing you build.
gigantic.
This is the thing you build a room around. I mean, that's just amazing.
But there's so much alien stuff that like all of a sudden is just coming out of the woodwork. I haven't been following these, but the classic alien hat, Brett's hat, is here.
Yeah.
I know.
We've never seen that, have we?
No,
Only
No,
the
and it's
one- the one-
unfortunate how beat up it is. And
The
faded.
damaged one that the alien bit him through the head. I've seen that one before, but this one's the undamaged one. Yeah.
That
But it was
drop
beat
ship,
up
by the way,
back
Todd,
then.
it's 80 inches in length.
I know. As I'm saying, this thing
it's
is
big.
just like I said, just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, if you're somebody who's looking to complete one, like if you've got pieces of a Colonial Marine set, but you don't have the full thing, I mean,
Oh, the armor. There's
there's a lot of stuff in
There's
here.
armor. I mean, that armor's there's 2 sets of armor. There's Hudson's armor. Isn't there 2 sets?
Yeah.
They've got Hicks's shotgun too.
I know Hicks's shotgun.
Yeah, you could fill out your complete
Okay,
ensemble.
So I have
For
never
only
figured
several
this- I have never
$100,000.
noticed this before. Okay, I always thought Hicks's shotgun had a shotgun grip on it.
I know that weird pistol grip thing.
That is off a German World War II machine gun. That's off an MP40.
Oh, so they built that. That's interesting.
That is not a stock shot. Yeah, that's an MP40 grip.
40 to 60,000 pounds.
And they'll get it.
Yeah.
Oh, Apons.
It says here it's got a modified MP40 pistol grip. Yep. So
Dave, did you
Apons-
see Drake's dog tag? I think it's the first time I've actually seen a real dog tag.
Hudson's dog tag was in there a couple years ago, and that's when I saw that picture when I decided to make dog tags.
Okay.
After I saw that picture.
So, an interesting thing, the VP70M sidearm pistol.
Yeah.
Okay, that is 100% stock HK VP70.
I know. That's
Yeah.
why I thought the shotgun was a stock.
Yeah, no,
thing.
me too. I owned that gun. Not that gun. I owned one of those things. That is the first. Everybody thinks the Glock is the first polymer framed handgun. This was it. It was made for Swiss military trials. That trigger guard is huge because it was made to be fired with gloves on.
That was a first really futuristic looking gun.
And that thing, it looks like a ray gun. That thing has a trigger like a Nautilus machine. It's like there is no way to accidentally fire that gun. You pull,
Yeah,
you pull, bang.
It's not semi-automatic, right? The hammer goes back every time. Hammer has to go back every time.
Yeah, it is a semi-automatic,
Yeah.
but it almost it's striker fired. But it's yeah. It's one of the hardest guns I've ever shot.
You know, it's interesting. There's 2 sets of armor here. There's Hudson's.
Mm-hmm.
That's 40 to 60,000 estimate, and there's Apone's 60 to 100,000, but because Apone's is screen matched and Hudson's is not screen matched.
Right.
That's weird. That's whoever bought this Apone armor probably paid 10 grand for it like 20 years ago, and now it's going for 100,000 pounds.
There really is a
that's
lot
why
of
it's there.
stuff here,
Yeah.
though. I mean, you got all of Gorman's stuff. You've got
There's a ton of stuff.
just a ton of stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that
great.
That I want to say Hudson's dog tag went for $3,000 because I had it on my list to bid when it went out when it came out. This thing is starting at $3,500. It's
Right.
3,000 pounds.
And no disrespect, but Drake is not nearly as iconic of a character as Hudson.
No.
Just
Right.
going back a minute, and maybe this is more for Brian. The 2001 Orion. This is a replica.
Right.
It's not even the model from the
I
movie.
was wondering about that. Yeah, because I
20
saw
to
It's also
30,000.
very large. It's like another 70-something inch model. But this was made for like a museum.
Right.
It's not even like an actual movie prop.
I don't think the original of this exists.
Probably
No,
not.
it doesn't. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Because
Oh, yeah. And we missed there's a Hero pulse rifle too.
Yeah.
Which
Which
was
is-
repainted, right? It was a
Didn't
hero.
They
but
repainted
well,
them black for
for Alien
Right.
3.
if you
Didn't
if
they
you
use
listen
this-
if
the
you
original-
listen if you listen to the podcast from the Dragon guy, he's talked about how they do in depth on that gun, and they were all taken apart,
yeah.
put back together,
Yeah.
taken apart and put back together. So Hero, yeah, and they were
Yeah,
all
I know,
painted
I
black
know.
for Alien
Well,
3.
Hero in that it's not a resin cast stunt one, but yeah, how much of
It
it
was
is
the Hero in Aliens, then it was redone, but there's a whole in-depth. He had his repainted. That's a tricky thing. What do you do to
Right.
that? This is still black, I think.
I think the fact that they've all been modified opens the door at least for you to be able to repaint it if it's done properly.
It's still going to go for 100,000 pounds.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
crazy. All right, that's a lot of.
So you guys see that there's Black Widow pistols in
But
here,
we
right?
did. I do
Saw
see
that.
that. Those are Hero Black Widow pistols from what?
Age of Ultron.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are pretty sweet.
And we were just talking about Christopher Reeve. He's at this auction. The Superman
Yeah,
suit
he
on,
is.
the, on the Christopher
That's-
Reeve mannequin, which is really really extra creepy looking.
I
It's
did watch
very-
the video
I-
on that suit. It's all pieced together. One part's from Superman 1, something's from Superman 2, there's another part from Superman 3, but I guess there haven't been all these put together.
Right. Yeah.
It
I guess
also feels like every single auction catalog now has a hoverboard in it. Like
Yeah.
one
Oh
of
my
Marty's
God,
hoverboards.
there's no shortage of hoverboards.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want the Christopher Reeve mannequin. I think I would do that. I think that would display much better on just a plain mannequin where you just don't, because it does creep you out. It really does.
You can
else?
get Back to the Future 3 Marty McFly's poncho and boots, Brian, since you love that
that.
movie so much.
100,000 pounds they're
Yeah.
talking about. What
Yeah,
the hell?
anything Screen Match from Back to the Future is going to be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hoverboard 100,000. This is like the 30th hoverboard.
That poncho, they're saying 60 to 100,000 from
That's
Back
crazy.
to the Future 3.
Let's see what else I got. What else did I want to got on the list?
Boy, the Batman cowls do not hold up. Boy, it's sad looking at that.
Yeah,
Because you can see that rotting in the picture.
we know a guy who'll fix it for you.
We do.
We do. So jumping ahead in the catalog a little bit, they do have an aluminum Thugi sword from Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom.
Oh, that
Which
would look good. That would
would
look good
look
next,
really good with the chicken skewer.
next to some skewers. It would.
Yep.
Look really
How
good.
much is that?
Hang on, I gotta find it. I had written it down. Talk amongst yourselves, I'll find it.
The Captain America First Avenger cowl,
Yeah.
6,000 to 8,000. That seems low.
Some of these things seem. I thought the Roy Batty coat seemed low.
How much is that?
It's 30 to 50, but it just seems
That's
like
low. That's gonna go. I bet that goes over 100,000.
it. Yeah, it just seems so. Like
All right, this Thugi sword is estimated at 3,000 to 5,000.
That means
Hey,
that means 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know because when I look at my favorites list, right, the after the favorites from this auction or the favorites from the last auction, and a lot of stuff I was looking at did not sell.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But their starting prices are so high.
That's why they don't sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing, is that the things have been going for so much that people are just consigning now and saying, if I don't get X, I don't want to sell it. But
this auction, this is the one site that after the auction they have a post auction sale where you can pick up anything that didn't sell for the minimum bid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I should say the minimum bid for the low estimate.
Now, I don't know if any of you actually listened to the last episode of that Props podcast, but the guy that they were interviewing, who has a huge collection of horror memorabilia. I guess a lot of his stuff's in this catalog too. The Jason masks and the Jason machetes, and
those stuff is going for a lot of money. I could not care much about it.
No, it's not my thing, but I think it's interesting that he has so much of it all in one auction.
He's been collecting for a long time. Yeah,
I would have thought, and he even said it in the interview, like, he'll find out whether selling it all off in one shot was the smart thing to do, or whether he should have pieced it out over a couple of years in these auctions. Because, you've got a small number. I shouldn't say small. I don't know how large of a community that is, but it's a group of people who are all going to be bidding against each other for the same things. And maybe if you spread that out, you'd do better in the long run. But
yeah, I think he saw that one mask that went for crazy money. What, 180,000 or something a couple auctions ago. I can't believe, didn't we see a Hero Wilson from Castaway already? And here's another one.
Oh, there must have been many, many, many of those, right?
This is screen matched, and it's as much as 100,000 pounds. That's crazy.
Wow. Well, if you want to round out your Dalek collection, that can also be done through this catalog. Because there are many, many Daleks, which would be tempting at the prices they're going for if they weren't in England.
Yeah, that's the other thing you have to remember here. Anything that all of these items are in England, so anything you buy, you have to ship it from England.
Yeah.
Just looking through stuff. What else is on my list? Some elf stuff. There's a sling ring, a couple of them.
I actually, the sling ring seems like it's reasonable for a screen use Marvel prop.
Yeah,
bunch of Bond stuff in here.
Ton of James Bond stuff.
Yeah,
I was looking at a couple things. Well, for me, the helmet with the camera from Little Nelly is awesome.
That is so cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Brian, you know what? As soon as I saw that and I knew I couldn't afford it, I'm thinking of making one of those. I don't think it's too hard to make.
Is that a polo helmet? You gotta find
That's what I was thinking. If you could find that helmet, the rest is easy.
It's got to be mostly found parts, right? I would imagine.
Absolutely. It's all found parts from the day.
I think that could be made as a replica. I think that would be fun.
The rollerball helmets, the trick was finding the right motorcycle helmet. Once you found it, it's easy. But
yeah, I mean, I don't have the exact real one, but I had one that's pretty close.
I've
got 3, Dave. Well, I'll hook you up.
That is absolutely.
Do you really?
Helmet.
Yeah.
You have 3 of that English company
I do.
With the
My friend and I figured it out, and we hit eBay and got them cheap before everybody else figured it out.
Does it have that plaid lining?
One of them does, yes.
Yeah. I just used regular, just close old 70s motorcycle helmets.
Yeah.
Didn't we just have a Lost in Space auction within the last year or two, and now there's
guess what didn't sell?
A bunch of that stuff's been flipped already. Yeah.
Yeah, is that those? I'm looking back at this helmet that they say this also is going to go for $100,000. Like, seriously?
Which helmet are you talking about?
The Little Nelly helmet.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
Oh, are you kidding? Something from the Connery era.
Dave, you would be fabricating the little aluminum gizmo to go above the lens, but you could make everything else. You could find
those headphones, that
standard
helmet,
standard headset,
the lens.
The lens is got to be super common, and that is a polo helmet.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Got to dig into that. That would be a fun little project. But yeah, there's some guy selling his Bond collection, this Peter Nelson collection. Right. That is the Walter PVK with the silencer from GoldenEye is pretty sweet.
Did you see I like the throwing knife from on Her Majesty's Secret Service. That's cool.
I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but did you see the loincloth that Taylor wore in the original Planet of the Apes?
Did I see it?
It's just a rag. I mean, it's just a rag in the catalog. It's just a rag hung on a mannequin, but they're saying it's going to go for 15,000 pounds.
I'm absolutely buying that at any cost. That's how.
Actually, the soldier ape costume. I mean, again, they don't have it properly displayed in this photo, but like if you display that right, that could be a really cool piece.
Yeah, those are crazy expensive too.
And it seems like they've been around for a long time and only started getting expensive, it feels like, in the last few years.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How about the Lost in Space complete robot costume from the TV?
Oh yeah, from the movie.
The current TV series or the recent TV series for 30 to 50,000 pounds. That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, but that also just sold in an auction like a year ago for less than that.
Did it really?
Well, they did the whole liquidation of all the props and costumes from that show.
Yeah. I just feel like that'd be
what
cool
else is on my list here? Planet of the Apes.
There's some cool Star Trek stuff in this auction too.
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple of those costumes.
The Spock costume. Walking Tribble.
Those Star Trek costumes are priced too low. They're going to go for a lot more than that.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you're right.
I keep hoping TOS is going to fall off as it ages, but it doesn't.
No, because they don't make more of those. They just don't.
No, but even like the communicators from Final Frontier, I don't think I realized how similar to the originals they were, given how different the phasers and everything were.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Yeah, those were, you don't see that a lot. They made walkie-talkie ones back then. I have, that I bought a long time ago.
It also feels like in the last few auctions, there have been a lot of quote unquote lightsabers, like real lightsabers, screen-used lightsabers.
A ton of them.
And now they're like, oh, this is the lightweight version, and this is this version, and I don't know. I know they made a ton of each version, but it seems like there's been too many selling. Like I thought most of that was in Lucas's archive.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of them. Todd, you're not going to bid on the practical Moonbase Alpha buggy?
It's actually on my list.
I love that. I love those things back in the day. I thought they were the coolest things ever.
It's $100,000 and it's $90,000 to have it shipped here.
Yeah, exactly. You could probably drive it onto a ferry or a cruise ship and bring it home cheaper than.
Yeah, I do like that Spock costume from Motion Picture, but you're right. That's gonna go for a lot of money.
This is what I've been waiting for, but I can't afford it. It's not just a tiny little piece of the Death Star. They've actually got a full 12-inch by 12-inch section of Death Star tile.
You should buy it and then cut it up and sell it.
I couldn't do it, but they're estimating 10 to 15,000, and we know the little 3x3 sections have been selling for 3,000 and 4,000 and up.
That's why it's a bargain.
I know I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. The friends of mine who dumpster dived ILM and when it was in LA, were coming back with boxes of plaster Death Star tiles.
Yeah,
and playing frisbee with them in the parking lot of
I know
Star Trek. Yeah, Oh my God, I threw it on the roof of the theater, and unfortunately, they tore the theater down, and I'd be up there looking for them.
I also like this other item here that they're not quite sure if it's a Millennium Falcon floor panel or a Death Star ceiling panel, but it's from A New Hope, and it's going to go for 12,000.
Those were just plastic pallets.
Yeah,
I've got a buddy who's got his R-tube mounted on it. It's just a plastic pallet they painted black.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What else?
I should have bought a Death Star tile when I could reasonably afford one. They've just gone out of my price range.
The Enterprise C, if you're,
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
But
I love that. I love that design.
Those models are just incredible. The detailing that went into them.
We were just talking about the Nerf phaser rifles, and here is the actual first contact EVA phaser rifle for sale at a reasonable price. It can't go for $3,000 to $5,000. There's no way. It's gonna go for $15,000.
That's the problem. Even the low price, like everything Star Wars, like even the general command insignia, 3,000 to 5,000, and it'll go higher than that. There's nothing that's even affordable.
No.
Leia's bikini.
Yeah.
That's going to set the record. That is going to set the record for the show.
But we've seen that before, haven't we?
We've seen a version of this
Not
cell.
complete.
I don't know if it's. I don't know how many of those there are either, but I know for a fact there's one in the Lucas Archives because I've seen it touring. But I know that I've seen pictures of people's collections where they have. I think Gus Lopez had one. I think one of those very prominent collectors had one in their collection. I remember seeing it.
You think they'll rent this out for like a day?
Probably not. Just saying. Then you've got the Rogue One costumes, which aren't even, those are like replica touring costumes. They're display costumes. They're not
replica costume display, and it's 30 to 50,000. What kind of thing is that?
It's probably as accurate as you can get to the real thing, but
it's
still
ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, that's how you fill up a catalog, though, I guess, these days.
But the prices are crazy.
The last thing I had on my list, which is just also just so cool, is the T800 articulated endoskeleton arm.
Yep.
They're saying 50,000 pounds. But that's, that's the piece from T2. I mean, that is like, to me, that and the brain chip are like the two.
Yeah.
I'm curious how much this Superman costume goes for. They're saying 250 to 500,000.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
But it's weird that it's pieced together.
But you never see a complete one.
No,
never,
because they use them in pieces.
They reuse them. They do different things,
and that's what I'm saying. And they would get wear, and they soiled really, really easily, and so yeah, there's no screen matchable complete.
So this Stormtrooper blaster from the Mandalorian. 4,000 to 6,000. What are the chances are that's just a fan made gun that made its way onto the set of the Mandalorian?
100%. I mean,
they totally.
The first season of Mando, they invited 501st guys on and then told them all of your costumes are now certified screen used.
It's made of plastic.
Yeah, I wonder if that's an ILM one or if that's just a fan made one.
I bet it's some fans consigning it.
But here's a weird one, Dave, and you should pay attention to this one because you own the same thing. They've got an Aliens pulse rifle that is an autographed of a kind replica Hero pulse rifle signed by Michael Biehn.
I saw that.
So, like, it's a replica, and somebody took it to a show and had Michael Biehn sign it, and it's going to go for $5,000.
I'll sell mine for $5,000. I probably wouldn't.
It's just weird. I don't know. To me, it's. I don't think replicas have a place in these.
I don't
auctions.
And I can't believe they put them in here.
It's a little ridiculous.
Seeing that more and more.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to chip in with me to buy Tom Cruise's leather jacket from War of the Worlds?
No, I was hoping you guys would pitch in to buy Schwarzenegger's jacket from Terminator 2.
They do have Kate Beckinsale's catsuit from Underworld, and I know they rent that by the day.
So there's some amazing stuff in here.
Wonder Woman tiara, like one of the last things. It's only $25,000, but there it is.
It's still it's just a nice thing and it's one of those things though you don't really have to explain what it is. It's pretty clear.
Lots of. You always see Wolverine claws. They're all over the place.
Dave, in the very affordable range, okay, Sidney Bristow's leather jacket.
I know.
Alias.
Yeah,
I was looking at that.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm not going into the affordable stuff. We'll have to talk about what we actually may bid on after the show.
All right.
It also seems like every single catalog now has one of these Raiders of the Lost Ark Peruvian temple arrows.
Yeah.
Every single catalog has one now.
Yeah.
I'm curious if it's the same one.
Is it right? Is it the same one that keeps changing hands? Or
They're like the X-Files ID badges that are in.
There were hundreds of those. Someone's like, "Oh, I got this thing. You're telling me the last one sold for 7,000? Yeah, let's put it in the auction." I mean,
yep. That's the thing that this stuff is peaking. I hope, right? Everyone's talking about the bubble is going to pop on everything.
You haven't
There's a
seen
recession, and people are getting their stuff in while they can.
Yeah, well, there's a can of Dharma Initiative beer which I could have bought for $50 a couple of years ago, and now that's going to go for $600 to $800. They're saying
You need that. You want a Lost thing. That's your.
I do want
Lost
something
thing.
from Lost, but I'm not paying £800
Oh my
for
God.
a can of beer.
Yeah, sure you
I
are.
kicked myself for passing up on that Lost auction. So much stuff was affordable. And
I know.
Like, why did I not get that?
I mean, it was a lot of, you know.
I just think about what I was willing to pay in that last auction for the Virgin Mary statue, where I could have gotten those for a steal in the original auction.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's the auction. I mean, we're just rambling about it, but if you're bidding on anything or win anything, let us know. It's going on while we're in Rhode Island, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of frantically looking at phones if we're bidding on stuff.
And a lot of egging each other on to
Yeah,
spend
Barry
more money.
behind us going, do it.
If Barry doesn't spend $600 for a can of beer, I won't take his egging on. Come on.
Can I do it in my Palpatine voice? Do it.
That's a bargain.
I'm sure we'll be talking about it at the show.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Okie dokie. I don't have any clue how long we're going so far, but
45 minutes.
I bet it's more than that. All right, let's talk about Lower Decks. It's finished, so there's spoilers.
Yeah, season ended. Last week.
Last week, I guess. So, Barry,
Well,
it's your favorite show. So when
I've been pushing that I wanted us to talk about it just because, we've talked about it in the past. I've expressed how much I like it. I know Todd has as well. I thought this season was probably the best season that they've done so far. I think that, there were some good episodes, but there were some episodes that kind of blew my mind for what the DS9 episode, as an example, was unbelievable what they accomplished in a 25-minute animated episode of Star Trek that is meant to be funny. Like that one and the two that followed it, the Peanut Hamper episode.
I didn't get the need for
love
that one.
that.
Really? I didn't get that.
Oh my
I didn't
God!
care
it was
for that as
so
much,
bizarre.
but it was it was odd, but it was still. I mean, that was like the example of it being like referential to itself, because
But it was also an episode
had to
where
have seen the Peanut Hamper episode from last season to get that.
But it's also the first time they've ever done an episode where it was 15 minutes in before you essentially saw an actual main character from the show.
Yeah. It's again, I think it's great. I think it just gets better as you go along. I remember back to watching the first episode and thinking, oh yeah, this is not going to work. And they have managed to work out this perfect balance of working these characters into this known universe that we know, and finding the funny aspects of it. And I thought it was going to get dull really quick. They keep coming up with different ways to go.
Well, and there's so many inside Trek references that
but they've also given dimension and personalities to these characters in a way that I thought they weren't going to. That I didn't think was possible, because they all seem like caricatures to begin with. And I just, like I said, I loved it. I really, really like this. It's just, you just got to take it as, this kind of separate thing that's in its own bubble.
That's how I approach it. And I did not like the first few episodes of the first season. They've totally gotten away from that franticness. I enjoy it. It's funny.
Okay. All right. So
Brian clearly doesn't like it.
All right. So
Brian's watching with pursed lips. So it's time to let him out of
He's like, let me talk.
I'm very fortunate in that my wife likes watching all this stuff with me. So I very lucky in that respect. But we watched the first few episodes of the first season, and it was so shouty, we stopped watching the show. Yeah. I got through about 3/4 of the first season. I did not watch the second season at all. And then you guys keep talking about how great the third season was. So I said, honey, they tell me it's not as shouty. We have to watch it. The first minute of the first episode of the third season is nothing but her shouting about her mother being court-martialed, and she just yells for the first 90 seconds of the show. I was like, well, they told me it wasn't shouty. And it's nothing but shouting.
It's less
fun.
frantic
it's
shouting.
Fun.
It's less frantic shouting.
Okay. There were some fun things about it. The main character, the shouty character, whose name is escaping me. Who's the lead?
Mariner.
Mariner phasing her girlfriend's friends to save oxygen was hilarious.
Yeah,
That was brilliant.
There's some
Phasing all
funny
that was
stuff.
great.
There's no
That was
stakes to it,
totally
though. It's
totally
just
getting
fine.
into it.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was,
like,
I love that.
This
That
is
was
going to
fun.
be awkward if they wake up and we're the only ones conscious. Okay,
Yeah, that was fun.
The
Kids
Crisis
Night
Point
was-
episode, the one with the holodeck movie from this season, I thought that might have been the best episode of the season.
yeah, I am too sentimentally attached to DS9 for that not to have been my favorite, but I think that was second best.
Did you notice? Because this was a subtle thing that I didn't notice. I'll admit I watched that one twice. When they were in the scenes of the movie, the screen became letterboxed.
Same thing they did last year.
No. But this you might not have noticed this part. When I think it was Boimler was going out of the holodeck, he calls for the door. It opens. He had to step over the letterbox to get out of the holodeck.
That's hilarious.
But last year, my favorite thing last year was when they went down to the letterbox format. All the textures were much richer and everything was much better. And there was a crap load of lens flares.
And in this one, they added grain
like,
into all the footage to make it look like film
everything
footage.
became but every scene was just like, it was like they had the catwalk fight and the collapsing catwalk and all these tropes that were just brilliant. But like you said, when they did and it was just like, and somebody said so many lens flares.
So many lens flares.
It was just it was
The whole
great.
play on V'ger too with the Kitty Hawk thing was just priceless, and I just thought that they had the punk with the boombox. I mean, they had all these Star Trek references, and Sulu was in that one. Sulu made a cameo.
The other thing though is like just digging, like Leah Brahms makes an appearance and they dig up the actress who played her.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's like, they get the DS9 people to do their own characters.
Oh, that was great that they had Nana Visitor and Armin Shearman do the voices on that one. That was so good.
Yep. And they're exactly where you expect them to be and exactly where they should be. And you didn't need more than that. And I thought that was terrific.
I was comforted that Morn was still at the bar on Deep Space Nine.
Yep. One of the things I liked was because again, they've got certain personality, like that when Mariner was with the architect woman, the sketchy architect woman, and like, and the explanation for where her funding comes from was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Like Picard is a secret foundation.
Yeah.
It's funding these
Oh, you mean archaeologists? You said
I'm sorry, I said architect.
It's like, what architect?
Archaeologists.
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 Yeah.
I was waiting for Vosh to show up in.
Yeah,
that whole
I actually
thing.
was too, but they. So, I that like Picard was funding the archaeological expedition, so the recovery expeditions, which is totally a Picard thing to do.
Well, and I do like that for an animated series, they are, I mean, while they're loosely connecting some of these episodes together, there are threads that run through, like the Boimler's twin from the transporter. Like the fact that they brought that back, and then they brought that back, and I mean, he's in Section 31 now, which I would have thought, I never would have thought the cartoon would have gone to Section 31, but it's just stuff like, and then the evil computer storage at Starfleet, where they've got Peanut Hamper now with the other evil computer.
With all the evil computers, and then also, but having your stereotypical like evil admiral guy, with
that was the M5 computer.
It was the M5.
Yeah, totally.
Exact M5.
Oh,
computer.
M5. No, but what I'm saying in the final thing with the admiral, the out of control admiral, it's like, which is just a trope they just keep going back to. There's always like one star, basically Admiral Cartwright. There's always one star.
And what's his name? His name is like Good Man in Spanish or something, right?
Well, that's like in the original series,
reservation.
every starship captain but Kirk is insane.
Yeah.
Is exactly right. No wonder they like
Our
hired
job is just killer on captains,
It
man.
just really is, and they all make really bad decisions. It's like,
Actually, it's interesting just thinking about that. In World War II, they only let submarine captains go for 3 tours.
Yeah.
and they relieved them because they didn't think they could take a fourth tour. Maybe it's the same thing. It needs to be 5 years. Might be a little
But
too
this
long.
when you say that, Brian, this also explains the episode of Strange New Worlds where Kirk met Pike and was immediately second guessing every decision Pike was making.
Yeah.
Okay. It's basically every other captain out there is a whack job. So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. There's another one.
Yep.
I know. To me, I've been so disappointed. Other than Strange Worlds, I've been so disappointed by modern day Star Trek. I don't know why this series just makes me so happy, but it does.
It, like I said, they hit everything in such a good way. It's, it manages to poke fun but still be respectful, and it's like I said, it's great.
So the show is okay, but it's still a bit shouty.
It's enjoyable. There's no stakes to it, so it's fine. I mean,
I do. It also, again, Brian's theory of Star Trek is that the show's only as good as much as it references the shows before.
Yeah, well,
and it's all the references in that make that show much, much better. Yeah.
Now, have you seen Tawny Newsome in real life? You know what she looks like in real life?
Yes,
she does kind of look like Mariner.
They all kind of look like themselves.
And so this is, I cannot wait for the live action crossover. I cannot imagine how they're going to pull this off. But
well, you guys said that's going to happen, right? Some of the characters
they've said it's absolutely happening in season 2.
And they reference Picard at the end in the season finale, so that sort of is their in to be in Picard.
Oh, so
no.
Picard.
They're going to be in Strange New Worlds.
They're going to be in Strange New Worlds, which doesn't
right.
fit the time frame at all.
No,
so I don't know how they're going to do it, but
time travel
or holodeck or something. Yeah,
something.
They already did time travel on Strange New Worlds.
Well, you could do it more than once.
Oh yeah, you can
do it again.
Totally hit that.
Yeah,
and but yeah, no, I think that's going to be really interesting. So
only a matter of time before they do Negative Universe and Strange New Worlds too. Come on.
Yeah. Yep.
Gotta go there.
Yeah. So let us know if you're watching it, if you like it, don't like it. It's got to be better than Discovery, so it can't be bad. Okay, it's two of you have what's in the box, I think?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Go ahead. What do you got? Brian? What's in the box?
Got this came in a tube, not in a box. But and I don't know, Dave, if you saw this, but at Comic-Con, Shag the artist did a special Batman print from the 60s Batman.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow, look at that. Sweet.
That's cool.
And it finally arrived. It is, oh, come on, stay in focus. It's an amazing 60s send up. And it's a 20 color silkscreen.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Which is why it took so long to get it, because it takes a long time.
I just expected it would be bigger than that. That's all.
Yeah. It is, and it's beautiful because the colors, each color is its own PMS color. It's just super crisp. Really nice
cool.
poster. Really nice poster.
That is nice.
And with Todd, what do you got?
Okay, so I have the newest Black Widow Hot Toys figure.
Oh wow!
So I've only recently taken out of the box. She looks really good. This is from the movie. This is the first.
Is this like the 6th Black Widow you have?
No, this would be the 8th Black Widow I have.
Okay.
Wow.
There will be 9 because I got the white suit one on pre-order still, and then I guess 10 if you count Yelena Belova as a Black Widow.
And she's holding the guns that you guys own.
Well, I was going to say I have meticulously examined
her ass.
Her meticulously examined her firearm, and it does perfectly match these screen used ones that Dave and I have. So that's a plus. She comes with the usual gajillion hands. I love these things. This is the little kind of whippy weapon kind of.
Oh wow, that's
thing.
nice.
Okay.
That's kind of cool the way they articulated
It's super articulated. Got a ton of hinges in it, which is very, very cool. And but yeah, no, it's.
Is she a little pale? She looks a little pale.
She looks a little pale on screen, but her complexion's actually pretty good. She does look pale. No, it's pretty good. She's she's very intense looking. I will say that.
Yes.
And can I see the back of her head? What are they doing with her hair?
It's like braided,
and that's all plastic.
Yep, and it's all plastic. Which this is the second one of these that's been plastic. the Endgame one was as well, and hallelujah, it's just so much better than.
So, Todd, tell me if I'm wrong, and in hand, maybe it looks different, but it feels like they had gotten her likeness really, 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 like they nailed it on the last couple, but that one looks like it may be a little bit off on likeness. Is it
no, I
better
actually
in person?
I think it's really, really good, but I think there's a lot of like facial definition. There's a lot of like cheekbone stuff like that, and I don't think it catches the light particularly well.
Yeah, maybe it's
like
just
a
not
vampire.
translating on camera.
It's like her eyes are like super intense and really well done. But like I said, there's a lot of there's a lot more facial definition to this than in the previous ones, and I think it's just not reading well when you look at it. But it's probably the most lifelike one that they've done. Because there's a lot of texture and gradient, and there's like depressions in her forehead and creases and whatnot. And anyways, it's really nice. It's Hot Toys, so it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And weird thing with this one, when they pack they have the like plastic inside, like down the neck, so that so that they don't stain. Well, this one had one that went down the front, went down through her cleavage in the front. I pulled on this thing. I pulled up like 7 inches of plastic out of there. So it goes like all the way down to, I don't want to know where.
You're just making it so easy here.
But I mean, are they assuming people are going to undress her or something?
I think it actually was to keep the suit from not bonding to the body. I thought this thing was like going to be like 1 inch long, and it was just going to like tuck into the front. And I just kept pulling, and this thing just kept coming out. It was bizarre.
All kidding aside, if they're so worried about the materials that they're using, like interacting with each other, then they should use different materials. Because
I think it's
Over
like
time.
long-term storage things. Because
I know the idea though is if you're going to own it and enjoy it and have it on display for years, you don't want it to.
The thing is though, when it's being transported, it's in a truck that's 125.
Heat. Yeah, the heat.
I think they worry. Also when the materials are new and they're unstable, they're less stable, and then as Brian said, going into high heat, I think that's very responsible. But like I said, it was weird. I was like, am I gonna have to take the suit off to get this thing out? Because it was like one of those magician scarf things where I just kept pulling on it and just kept coming and coming and coming. So
Okie dokie. So that is that available? You got that from our pals at Fanboy Collectibles. It was in stock last week, I believe. Any last thoughts? I don't know why I'm asking.
I was at
R.I.P. D.H. Pellegro from the Dead Kennedys. Drummer died this week.
Oh. On a happier note, I was at Baltimore Comic-Con last week.
How was that?
Small.
It looked small.
And a comic book convention.
Oh.
Let me tell you, if you want to go and look at comics and comic art and artists drawing comics, that's the show to go to. Because it was comic books for sure.
That's cool. I mean, collectibles as well, or mostly comics?
No, mostly comics. There were maybe 4 stands with figures, and but lots of comics and lots of artists and lots of independent books.
That's interesting. No, it's good that they still have those.
Yeah,
cool. So as you know, we'll be at Rhode Island Comic Con. Let us know if you're going. You should go. If you're anywhere within a 3-hour drive, you should absolutely go.
Yeah, it's a
and
blast.
if you're in the hotel Saturday night, come to the lobby. We'll be there.
Yes, we will be there. Maybe Friday. Maybe not Friday. We'll see.
We've done Friday and Saturday. We've done just Saturday. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Unless we find a good restaurant to eat at. We'll figure that out. Okie dokie. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.